Hi and welcome to our second week of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 4. So I finished my monogram last week. So all the yarn is stitched down with satin stitch, and then I did my acorns with the bright red and the darker sort of burgundy. And what I've done is I've just roughly cut it out with an oval shape, and on the back I've drawn a rough line. So I'm going to applique this down onto a piece of blue fabric, and then I'm going to applique, actually I'm not sure, I might just cut it out so it frays, but then I can place it down onto my fabric. So just to show you how I'll applique it, I'm going to do needle turn. So I need to do, because this is an oval shape, I need to do little snips. They're about 1/4 of an inch apart or just slightly less, and I'm snipping all the way up to my drawn line, so that when I turn my fabric over, it will sit nicely in the oval shape. So go all the way around. Juju. Shh. Sorry, she's doing things behind and making noise. So she's only got a little bit to show. She's done a little bit of work on some monograms. So I'll show you them at the end of the video. I'm also going to put at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a really nice book that Mum has, which has lots of monograms. It's an older book, it's a Japanese one. It can be hard to find, but in saying that, I did find one from Amazon secondhand for $40 Australian, including the postage, so that wasn't bad at all. And I know Rach was on the hunt for one too, so hopefully, Rach, you found one. Yeah, I think you'd be finding secondhand ones if you can find it, not new, because it's been out for a while. I'll show you the book, and I'll show you the book number so you can see if you can find it. Okay, then come back to the start. All right, so just let me get my thread. All right, so I'm just going to use my silk stranded cotton. I could use a normal cotton as well. Actually, have I got one? Just looking here, I think I have a needle threaded with it already. Maybe I don't. Yes, I do. Okay, hang on one sec. I've already got a needle threaded up with it, so I'll use this. Let's wind that back up. So to needle turn, with my little snips, it's going to help me find the shape. And the reason it's called needle turn is because you can use your needle to help you turn the fabric under. Okay, I'm going to, now that's my son making noise next to me. Juju and my son are noisy. All right, I'm just going to pin it down so it doesn't, Jamie, stop it, he's being cheeky. So it doesn't move while I applique it in place. These little pins, not those ones, but this little one, these are actually clover applique pins. They're little, they're short, and if you were doing lots of small pieces, they're good because they're small pins. So I'm going to start on the straight side. I'm going to show you just quickly how I'm appliquing it in place. It's really simple, just a whip stitch or overcast stitch, whichever you want to call it. Okay, so just little stitches, a few mils apart, and then you can use your needle to turn under the next part. Okay, so a few stitches, got a little thread there sticking out, so I'll try and poke that under. If not, I can always get the scissors out. Yeah, that's just, I don't know if you can see, there's just a little thread sticking out. I'll snip that off later. Get my needle, Turn the next bit under. Okay. And I just keep going till I go the whole way around. So I'll just do a little bit more so you can see, and then I'll pop the video off and I'll finish it and I'll come back. So with the blue fabric, I can either just cut the oval shape, leaving a little bit of a border, and leave the raw edge so it frays, or I could also needle turn it under. I'm thinking maybe I will needle turn it under because then this piece will look consistent, like doing both layers with the needle turn. Now I did just roughly cut my oval shape, so it may not be perfect. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything oval that was this size to trace around. I do have an oval tin, but it was a bit large. Just doing another snip there because I did that too far apart. So what's happening? We're on holidays, but we're not doing much exciting things. In fact, nothing exciting because I think I told you before that my son is in his last year of school and he's working on his major artwork and his major work for design and technology as well. He's got 2 projects that he's needing to finish in the next couple of weeks. So he's been busy with that all holidays, and we've had to find extra supplies and paints and things like that. So we've been staying around home because he's had quite a few days in school in the art room working on things. Hopefully he gets it all done. Still got a lot of work to do. He's working on it right now next to me. Okay, so this is coming along quite nicely. Looks like it's getting a decent shape as I'm going. And with this tiny little silk thread, you can't even see the stitches. They're just little. So for you Queenslanders, just finished watching the State of Origin. I'm late doing my video tonight because we're watching State of Origin. And thankfully, New South Wales finally won a match, even though Queensland's got the series. Good to see them win. And good to see Teddy, one of my Roosters players, play better tonight. He's done well. And in a minute, I need to flick over to the Tour de France, which we've been watching. I'm really enjoying that. It's the first time I've watched it properly. I've been watching every night. It's making me tired because it finishes at about 2 a.m. here. So some nights I'm staying up and watching the whole thing if it's slightly shorter. And the longer ones, I'm probably still watching to at least midnight or 1 a.m. And then I get up in the morning early and I record it so I can watch the end. It's been good. There's a couple of Aussies that have been doing well, so it's good to see. It's really interesting sport to watch, seeing all the different tactics, how they work as teams. It fits in really well with the subject that I teach because we teach about technology in sport and training types and different types of training and energy systems, recovery, sports nutrition, sports psychology, and all this stuff is coming up as really good examples in the Tour de France. So I'm actually going to take some inspiration from it and I'm going to be spending some time teaching the boys about all that different stuff in relation to the Tour de France, because when they go into their exams and they have to write about different sports, it's a really good one that they can pick because there's a lot of really good stuff. So that's something I'll be doing in the next couple of weeks because they have got a major exam coming up soon, and then another one in October. And so does my son. He has his exams coming up as well. He doesn't do my subject though. Probably would have enjoyed it, but I just let him pick his own subjects. I didn't want to influence him because I teach it, and it's kind of better that he doesn't do it when I'm teaching it because I can't teach him anyway, and I wouldn't be able to mark his work as well because you wouldn't want to have anyone think you're being biased. Not that I'd do that. I'd treat him the same. But anyway. Okay. I'm going to pop the video off and finish off this stitching, and I'll be back in a minute. Juju, you can make noise now. All right, so the full applique is done. I've appliqued it onto the actual backing fabric around the edge of the blue fabric, that extra bit that I've added in. Now what I'm going to do is a running stitch around the inside of the linen. So I'm going to do it in navy. So your very basic running stitch. Okay, and I can go all the way through all three fabrics if I want to, but as long as I go through the linen up and down, that is good enough. It doesn't have to go right through to the bottom. So I am about 2 to 3 mils inside the edge of the linen. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about this project, just to help a few people who might be struggling with the concept a little bit further. So definitely have a look in the Pinterest boards. The images that I've put towards the first images I've added, so they're probably towards the bottom of the folder. The concept we're going with, like a stitch sampler, not just like the stitch samplers we did at the start of volume 1 where you were just doing stitches on one piece of cotton, but this almost like this would be a bit more like a textile sampler or a slow stitch sampler. So you will get your 12 prompts, which you can interpret the way you want to. And I know there's a lot of people, or several people, that are going to try and adapt the prompts to a theme. So I know there's at least 2 people that are doing sort of a nautical ocean kind of theme. And with me going through the prompts and checking them, I think you will be able to adapt all of them. There is people doing different formats. So some people will do the wall hanging concept like we're doing. And some people are doing, it looks like they might be doing a book. Some people may be doing, I've seen one that's going to put her little stitching into like a letterpress, the wooden shelving kind of thing with lots of little boxes. I've got one of them filled with knickknacks, but that'll be an interesting one to see at the end because there's a lot of boxes to fill, not 12, but lots. So at least they're little, so you will only have to do little things. So yeah, I think the prompts should adapt to themes if that's what you want to go with. And then in terms of having 12 prompts, now if you have a look at the sort of sampler style, there's a lot more than 12 items, like there's heaps of items in those samplers. So you would be welcome to add bits and pieces yourself. So if you want to add buttons, some random stitching, you want to add some Suffolk puffs, you want to add a bit of ribbon or a trim, it's okay to do that stuff, because even if something that you do, for example, comes up as one of our prompts, on those samplers, you can definitely do more than one of different things. So if I wanted to do another monogram, it wouldn't be a problem. Okay, if one of our prompts is, say, buttons, and you've already put some on, it's not a problem. Add more buttons. Like, a lot of those samplers have heaps of things that are repeated. So go for your life, filling things in, have fun. The concept of it is lots of like little things. Some things can be bigger, like this monogram for me is quite a big thing. And then I might do some little bits. I might do some hexagons, like some hexagon flowers or things like that, to fill in spaces. So just make sure that you do leave space for your 12 features now, or your 12 prompts. They don't have to all be big. You could do 8 big ones and then 4 that just randomly get slotted in somewhere. So again, there is a lot of creative freedom with slow stitching, and definitely with our projects. So have fun. Do a little bit as often as you like. I mean, you might have got your monogram. I mean, some people got their monogram done so quickly. Literally, the videos were up and I woke up the next morning and there they were. People had done them. And then it might be a bit boring waiting for the next prompt. So fill in some bits and pieces. Have a look at the Pinterest boards, get some ideas. I'm going to show you, I'll come back in a little while and show you. I've just sketched out some things to show you how you can add different things. So you can see I've gone through a couple of times, but that's about it. All right, so just finish that off. I may or may not come and do another stitch border. I'll just show you what I'm thinking of doing. I don't know if I will, but I'm thinking about it. So there's one little border. I may do something around the outside as well. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not decided yet. So that stitching was just done with the Perle size 8 Wonderfill navy blue. So I'm going to quickly show you a little bit of Juju's work. So Mum's been playing around with monograms. Mum's done monograms heaps of times, so this is not new to her. This one still got some solvy in it, Mum. She'll get that out. There's bits of solvy.
Just wash it.
Yeah, you wet it and it dissolves. But anyway, BR. Okay. I want to pick the solvy out. Anyway, she's done a P on an old piece of, that's an old piece of linen. I think needs to just go a little bit further, thicken it around there, not quite finished. Oh, I did this one. I haven't finished it. I did this for Mum, J and R. Years. How many years ago, Mum? Years. I haven't finished it though.
I don't know yet. I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But it's not the right colours for her. She's not going to, I wouldn't be putting that in because it's got pink, and she's doing the same kind of colours like me. She's doing red and like linen, and she tells me it's French blue. I'm doing navy blue, but I think navy is French navy. But anyway, Mum's doing a different blue. So this one won't go because it's not the right colours, but I should finish that. Here's another JR. So again, there's a bit of solvy in there that needs to come out, but on an old piece of, what would that be like? Probably a table runner, or a thing you put on a table. Okay, J and R done. This is what solvy's like. It's like a plastic sheet, so you can draw your pattern on it, then you stitch on it, then it dissolves in water. So that is, what letter is that? An L?
L.
An L. Okay, work in progress. And then this one is an H, and that's just an interesting way of doing it, something a bit different. Okay, and I'm going to show you where this H came from. This book. So this is the book earlier that I was telling you about, Initials and Monograms. We think it's Japanese. I think it's Japanese, and it's the most beautiful book. So the ISBN. I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. Let's just focus in case you want to see if you can find it. So I found two on Amazon. One was $40 coming from America, Australian, and the other one was 70, I think, or 80. And then I actually even saw, and I searched another ISBN search site, and it was listing it for almost $300. So search around, see if you can find it. I'm going to give you a quick view at some of the monograms in here. So very French. So that's kind of this, look at that. Imagine doing that whole thing. That is really beautiful. There's a nice S after me saying an S was not as interesting as an R. That's a nice one. Okay. So we've got a mix of, there's cross stitch and then different embroidered ones. Very French, this book. Okay, I'm just tilting it because if I go like that, the light goes on it. So just look at that, some of the old ones. I love these old samplers. Whoops, bumped the camera. They're really beautiful. Old samplers. So monogrammed French linen towels. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick flick. So many different types of monograms. White on white, and then patterns. Look at that. So patterns. Okay, really beautiful. So just in case you're interested in seeing if you can find the book, I showed you the ISBN. Initials and monograms. Okay, it's quite old. I don't know. Let me see if I can see what year it was published. See if there's any. No. Let's see if there's anything in the back. Here we go. Yuki Palace Collection. Looks like it was first published in 2004 and then published initially published in 2004 and then maybe a reprint in 2011. So yeah, it's old. Okay, so anyway, that's a bit of inspiration for you along with Mum's stitching, and then I'm going to come back and I am going to show you just my little sketch to give you some ideas. All right, I'll be back in a sec. All right, here we go. So I did this sketch just to give you an idea. So this might be part of my wall hanging thing. So I drew out my little monogram. That one, I made it more round, but once I looked at my actual monogram, it made sense to make it more oval. So I'm thinking of having an outside border, maybe with a bit of lace at the top and bottom. This could be a trim, could be an embroidered trim, something like that. Okay, this is just a silly little sketch. Could be a brooch or something you put on, and you might stitch a border. You might fussy cut some flowers out of fabric, or fussy cut something you like out of fabric with a bit of lace. I was thinking of putting a French laundry label. Now I've got them with SR, so I think I'll put one of them on. You might want to do a heart, do some beading and lace and stitching and put a bit of ribbon in it. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a strip of fabric, stitch some buttons down it. I'm thinking some striped fabric. You could do some hexagons in a line. You could do them as hexagon flowers. Bit of embroidery, random embroidery here and there. This might be some other feature fabric that I like, and I might do some embroidery on it. Might do some cantha stitching, some crosses, feature fabrics. This I was thinking of getting different bits of fabric, cantha stitching them down and then putting some hearts on them, maybe beading around the outside. So each section would be a different little fabric. You might put a word on there, put some Suffolk puffs, stitch a little scene with some flowers and some lace and stuff, buttons on fabric, etc. So that was just me sketching out just bits and pieces, ideas, things I've seen on other people's, just randomly placing things. So there's no actual structure. Some people that you'll see their examples, they've actually, I'll show you on another page. Say this was their wall hanging. They've actually divided it into sections. Okay, and then they've done, sorry, I'm just drawing really rough here. And then they've done things in each section, so all the different sections. Okay, so look, different ideas, up to you, but that was just a rough sketch I did today just to give you the concept. But obviously you can do what you want. If you're doing a book, you could just do each prompt on each page and you end up with 12 pages unless you want to add more yourself. So that's kind of the idea. All right, so I hope this has helped you. We've seen some amazing monograms. Some of them are so detailed. They're the really fancy ones. Rachel's done a more fancy one than me. Mine's pretty simple, but they're wonderful. You might have done a simple one and you want to challenge yourself later on and you want to do a second one with a different letter. It's up to you. Okay, so have fun with it, and I will see you next week where we will be revealing prompt number 2. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.